Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's Can't Stop, Should Stop. I'm Neil Rubenstein, along with...
Hey, I'm Bailey Pope.
Peter Angelo.
And today we're going to talk about July 4th weekend, what we did,
Yep.
shows we have coming up. We're going to discuss Furnace Fest, which is coming up in Alabama, Birmingham area?
In Birmingham.
In
September.
In September. And we're going to revisit one of my favorite albums, Deadguy, Fixation of a Coworker.
Hell yeah.
Woo.
How was your week?
Me?
Yeah.
It was good. Played the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, across the street from where Peter
it's
played.
a great place.
Why
do we have Pennsylvania?
There's so much of it.
Yeah, there's too much of it.
It's really like in the way
Can we just
of
shrink it?
anywhere where I'm ever going.
Philly, Pittsburgh, bleh.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I
a
do
lot
like
of
Pittsburgh,
nowhere.
but like it's just so it's basically Ohio.
Yeah, when we were driving, I literally saw like 12 billboards for like sheep jackets that have been up for like 30 years because they were all sunbleached. But it was like the only billboard we saw was just for sheepskin jackets.
I feel like I've seen
Yeah,
that.
and like we just saw a lot of abandoned Dutch antique stores.
Oh, you were on 76 or whatever.
Sure,
You were,
I
like,
blacked
on
out the whole drive,
Yeah.
and I was driving.
Yeah, no, we were on like the north side, like I-80, and it was just like nowheresville. And then we went to Cooperstown. Me and my buddies went to Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame for like yesterday, or 2 days ago for like the holiday.
Oh, the hotel we were performing in also had a Comic-Con convention going on at the same time, so it was like the only thing happening for literally miles.
But I could kill a lot of time at a Comic-Con.
Yeah, we were just kind of like we left like maybe the next day, but still we ran into like a bunch of old wrestlers that were there too. It was like Tony Atlas and supposedly Rikishi was there somewhere.
Are you guys into wrestling?
I'm a humongous wrestling nerd.
Do you guys find I find like a lot of comics love wrestling?
Yeah,
A lot of people love it.
Well, I mean, I understand that. Yeah,
But specifically, yes, that's honestly how I got back into it. So many comics I knew when I started out were like huge wrestling fans. I was like, all right, I started watching it and I was like, I don't know what clicked, but like I was like, this is fantastic.
Well, you mentioned you were doing shows with Zach, who is also huge into wrestling.
He technically does wrestle. He works as a manager a lot in the local promotion.
My buddy tours around the country as like a independent pro wrestler.
Oh, I've met him.
Dr. Redacted.
Dr. Redacted.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
a fucking lunatic.
He's a lunatic.
Maniac.
He's a really cool dude, but
He was super nice. I mentioned too.
he does like all like the sharps matches. So he's like constantly cutting
he does,
himself open.
So he does death
sure.
matches.
Smashing himself with like fluorescent light bulbs.
Yeah.
And, like, the one he had me ring announce him once, which was like one of my favorite times with
That's
the
fun.
microphone in my whole life. And they were like a door. They put like a door against the turnbuckle with like tacks and barbed wire.
Oh yeah.
And at one point, just walking around with like barbed wire hanging off him.
Dude.
It just
You guys should go to one of the New Fair City no ring death matches. That's where I met him, and it was wild. He was fighting a guy named Hoodfoot. And
Hoodfoot?
Hoodfoot.
not?
Hoodfoot was hitting him
That's
with
a
a
good
half
name.
of a door, and like I was filming, and the girl next to me was filming, and a piece of the door came off and just literally came right at us. And I told her to send me the video because the video just comes and it stops. The piece of the door is just like right in front of us and just missed hitting us. Shit was wild.
Yeah.
It rules.
Yeah, it really was awesome. And like the audience, the fans are so cool. Like the crowd reaction, it's just like it's very like unity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, that was sick. Or like with Dr. Redacted, I introduce him and like I'm like being like kind of antagonistic.
Yeah.
You know? And I introduce him.
Working
and
heel.
Yeah, and the whole crowd's like, not a doctor. It's like so fucking awesome.
Growing up, I have a friend of mine. He was like into like backyard wrestling when we were like teenagers, and then he did that for a while, and then he actually got like a contract for WWF, but then like some crazy shit happened, and he ended up like just giving it up and went into the army, and like then when he came back
So real
from
fighting. He went
like
from-
crazy shit,
real fighting.
like it was like a big thing, but like he
Still
was
scripted.
so into wrestling that when he came back and he actually was like struggling with like PTSD, he started like a whole organization that deals with PTSD through wrestling. And like it's still like a thing, like the Valhalla something in
They
Texas.
don't snap to actually kill the guy he's fighting.
Our buddy Dan Barry, he's a comic, and he also wrestles like independent leagues, and he was in WrestleMania. He was like a fake cop.
Oh yeah.
Like he was one of like
whenever
the main
they have
fake
like a
cops.
big thing, they always have like indie wrestlers just get their ass kicked by like the main guys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're just called jobbers. I don't know, man. I want to wrestle. I want to learn to be a wrestler.
I could see it.
That's right. Thank
I
you.
could see
I
it.
believe in
Thank
you.
I want to do it. Problem is, I want to do death matches, and
I mean, that's what I want you
that's
to do.
a lot of bleeding.
I want to
bleed.
watch you get your ass kicked.
Yeah, but I'd be all. Yeah, I just want to bleed a lot and get hit with stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dr. Redact is insane.
He's nuts.
Yeah.
He like jump off the turnbuckle with like a trash can on his head, like into a bunch of fluorescent light tubes that are on top of the guy he's jumping
It's
on.
always why do wrestlers love fluorescent light
I
tubes?
think it's because the way they break.
shatter.
Yeah,
So
it's the way they
blatantly.
break.
Yeah.
They're like the safest way to cut someone, I guess.
Nobody uses fluorescent bulbs anymore. It's just wrestling.
It's
Pretty
just
much.
the
That's
whole,
keeping you in the
whole
business.
industry.
So I can't. It's like I can't move any of these fluorescent light tubes. There's a bunch of wrestlers walk in. Excuse me, I'd like to make a purchase.
And you had a house show. What did you do?
Well, this weekend I did this like bullshit house show that was like music and comedy, but like the band it was set up so like basically like the comics were on when the bands were like loading and unloading. And it was such a small space that like
That
it
sounds-
just
Oh, it's
didn't go wrong
disruptive.
out. It was
Yeah.
so disruptive.
Yeah.
Sound
And
checking,
then
you're
like
doing
they were like
jokes.
sound checking
Yeah.
during jokes and like blowing vape clouds behind my fucking head. Like it was just it was a disaster.
Who books this?
But last week too, I did a festival in Boulder, which was like really fun. Great shows.
Peter
like,
Lou was on that too, right?
Oh yeah,
He's a
yeah.
buddy
Peter
of
was
buddy of
there.
mine from Boston.
Yeah, they like sold out every show.
No shit.
There was like a theater. It was like 250 people theater. It sold out every show, and
Fuck.
the audiences were awesome. I
That
love
rules.
Boulder. It was a great time.
I have to check that out. Where were what was the show you were doing in Pennsylvania? Just like
just a brewery show.
just a brewery show.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Dude. The one we did, yeah, and this like for some reason this room we were performing in was like set to 80 degrees.
Oh,
And I think during like Zach's set, like one dude fell asleep. Just like
dude.
he just like,
Just like from a warm
also,
coma
too, like,
kind of
I was like, yeah,
situation.
pretty much just like because we were just like dying up there, and this one lady, I did a show. She like, came up to me and she was like, "Oh, you were so great." I'm like, "I saw you laugh twice." Like you just,
Dude.
yeah. I was like, maybe you were having fun, but you did not seem like it.
That's when you realize how much like the setup of a show matters so much. Because people will be like, I really enjoyed it, but like really they just didn't feel comfortable enough to laugh because it was too bright or
Yeah.
like the seating was wrong or just it matters so much.
Yeah, I learned that a lot on the like touring with bands.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's all about like if this venue is dark enough, if the bar is far enough away, if you know if doors are open an extra 15 minutes, if they announce you through the louds, like there's all sorts of like little things like people are just like, oh, we can do comedy here. Like you can,
Yeah.
you should
Yep.
not.
The show I got to see you at was awesome. You fucking killed that one. The one at the Sour Frog. Sour Frog? Is that the fucking name of it? What do you got? I did security.
Oh, Sour Mouse.
Yeah, Sour
Oh, I
Mouse.
forgot all
Frog.
Oh,
about that.
sour. Oh,
Frog,
Ashley.
show.
I don't know where the fuck I got
dude,
Frog
that show
from.
is phenomenal.
That was
Oh.
wild.
That her audience is so fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I did that like last year, and I was just like, well, it's such a it's
Yeah, it was
huge.
fucking
I mean,
packed.
it's always like 100+ people.
And it was Pride Day. It was like the March.
Yeah.
So it was just like
Oh, it was on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
fucking.
There was this like, I was checking people's bags and stuff like that, and as this lesbian, as she comes in, she like lifts her hands up to get like patted down. I was like, nah, I'm just checking bags. She's like, oh, she's like, you sure? Like she's like really. She was just like, she's like, well, I'll tell my mom a man finally touched me or something like that. And I was like, yeah, it was a gay man, so like, does it count? And she was just like, what? And just like, I was like, just keep going. It was interesting group of people. I checked so many goddamn bags looking for tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
What are you talking about?
She was worried about people like throwing shit at her.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Well.
That was wild. That was a fun show. That's a cool place.
Yeah, the place is great. So we sent around. I'll tell them. we sent around some albums from our like past that we were fond of to see if anybody else was into them, because we're like kind of 3 different eras of punk and hardcore metal. And the one we're going to discuss today in our revisit is a band called Deadguy from New Jersey. They were active in the late 90s and then recently reactive.
Oh, shit.
Albums called Fixation of a Coworker. Fixation on a Coworker? I don't know.
Either way,
there's an
it's
article
creepy.
in there. It's Fixation something a Coworker. Yeah.
Why?
Why-
Is it like, do you have any insight on the name?
Oh, well, it's like, because you like...
This is on you.
Yeah,
can't-
this is
Don't look
really
for
on
help.
you.
No. I'm trying to think of the words like the cops can't stop this until it gets serious. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
creepy?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Fixation of Coworker is just like...
I was afraid it was that.
Yeah, no. It's,
I was going to be like, Mel stole my stapler and his dick and I'm going to stab him.
No. It's like calling that out. Like
Yeah.
how like workplaces are awful.
Oh, okay.
Because the first...
It's not like Judy won't talk to me.
Yeah, the first EP is Work Ethic, and then this is Fixation of a Coworker. So it's like this, like,
It's just an
Oh.
office-themed hardcore
yeah,
band.
well, yeah, like just like how shitty day jobs are
Yeah.
in a very fun, abstract way. He's a very good lyricist, Tim Singer.
I didn't know this band before.
Really?
No, I didn't. I liked it a lot.
So the guitar player Keith Huckins was in a band called Rorschach first,
I know Rorschach.
and then afterward was in a band called Kiss Goodbye. They all moved to Seattle,
Oh,
and yeah, it's just,
Fixation Anna. It is Anna.
It's on. Okay,
Anna.
yeah, Fixation on.
Through Victory Records.
Yeah, but not. I mean, if you're like into, it is not a Victory Record sounding.
no,
No.
Like they got that.
Oh,
definitely
no,
not.
it's funny because Victory Records is
But
always
it
like
was-
that whole thing with them.
Although they were signing like a ton of stuff, because like Thursday, Taking Back Sunday, all that stuff. But this is a little bit before that also. Yeah, this is probably like 96, 5, 6.
This was definitely
Do
it.
you have the date there?
95.
95.
95, November 95. Yep, through, it was included in Decibel Magazine's Hall of Fame list in 2006. That means something.
I would put it in my Hall of Fame for sure.
Why was this the album that you wanted to revisit?
I guess because they're like doing stuff now. Pedigree. And I felt like when we were sending records, because you sent Dillinger, and like that kind of has a vibe. And I feel like this is also like, it's not as like metal as Dillinger maybe.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
it's like as like mathy and chaotic.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that reminds me of kind of this. Like this kind of maybe informed some decisions that Dillinger made later.
It definitely took me like that, like sort of middle ground, because like I feel like there was like a sort of like like dystopia and like actual like power violence stuff, like
Yeah.
and then like there's like this middle ground that I feel like this lives in before you get to like Dillinger and more like metal shit.
It would also like, I felt it was more like straightforward than Dillinger. But
Yeah,
Dillinger,
yeah.
sometimes I have tough time getting into because it sounds like they're all playing a solo at the same fucking time, and it's very like crazy all over the place.
I mean, I agree with I love them so
I'm not
much,
saying
but
it's bad. Like,
I
it's just,
also agree
for
with
me,
that.
it's tough. I kind of like things when it's like almost like simplified, and I guess
Sure.
this kind of had that for me.
While still being
Yeah, it
crazy
wasn't just like
and
chugga chugga
chaotic.
chugga,
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
it's still, but like I was like, oh, like this is something I could just like put in my headphones and like work out.
This
to
is something
kind of
you could actually mosh to.
Yeah.
You ever tried to mosh to at a Dillinger show?
No, I would feel confused.
It's so confusing.
It's just bodies. It's just like the TV scramble.
For the next 17 measures, we're gonna do this thing.
There's a mosh part in like 7/4. Like I don't know.
You don't two-step. You 2/7/9 step.
2/3 test.
I was just tap dancing, just in the pit. Dillinger is also one of the ones I couldn't super get into for like that reason.
Oh, really?
Like it's just like it's the songs that I dig into, I liked a lot, but I don't know, it just never felt for me. I also thought again, it was like if I was a musician, maybe I would have a better appreciation for it. I don't know.
Well, why did you pick Dillinger? Why was Dillinger so informative to you?
I mean, when I heard, actually the Mullet Burden, like the LP or EP, like the real short one that came at the same time as Calculating Infinity. When I heard that, it was like when I was like going and skating in like Venice Beach like every weekend and sleeping in my friend's van, that like we had to, like, it was the only thing that was in there was 2 front seats and the subwoofer that would always be playing like Dillinger and like and it just like takes me back to like when I learned about like music that like took me into this whole new direction.
Right. So I always talk about like this like this idea of like your contemporary album. So like when people get into bands that have like have bigger catalogs, like your entry point into them, like the album that comes out right after you got into them is like going to be your favorite album.
I agree with that.
Oh, yeah,
I agree
yeah,
with
yeah.
that for sure.
You discover them, then you're like, oh, they have a new one coming.
Yeah,
and, like,
and I
that's
think that expands out into like when you got into metal, the first new metal album you got, or like when you got into hardcore, like you have your favorite hardcore records, but then the first new hardcore record that comes out, like the first big thing in your, that's
I agree
like
with that.
your contemporary
I
genre album.
I have a tough time pinpointing that.
Huh?
I have a tough time like pinpointing where that is for me. I guess Hatebreed for me was like a big one.
I think it's not even like a conscious thing. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, I don't. Yeah,
you're gonna like put on an album and be like, oh, this is my favorite album by this, and you're like, oh, it's because that came out right. Like
Yeah.
that was the big show that month.
Yeah.
The month I got into hardcore. So like I heard whatever the fuck. I heard Bold and Youth of Today, and they were my favorite bands. But then the big show I went to was VOD. So VOD is my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I remember like when I first pivoted into like sort of more metalcore stuff. It was and when Norma Jean came out with Bless the Child, like that was just my favorite album. I thought nothing could get better than that, and I still listen to it pretty often, even though it's not better than a lot of stuff, you know. But like it's
just
so
resonates.
important to me.
Well, like for this, like how did you discover these guys? Just
I was a huge Rorschach fan.
okay.
So like Rorschach was one of the bands that like early in my formative hardcore years, and they played in my town at like a catering hall for like 13 people, and like then they kind of broke up. But I would see the guitarist at shows all the time, and I was into like what I consider noisier, like more dissonant stuff, and like a little mathier, a little more indie rock than hardcore. It's like Today's the Day or Drive Like Jehu or whomever. And I would always see Keith at those shows. Yeah, R.I.P. Frosberg. I would always see Keith at those shows, and I just kind of like became a fan of like his. You know what I mean? Like he was like the first. Like he was the first. Like, oh, this guy's just like us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then they started this band, and it was just like it just resonated with me. It was just like because it was a culmination of like all the things I like. I like chaotic-y, kind of noisier, dissonant stuff. I like metal. I like hardcore, and like this was like
all those elements.
Indie rock. And, like, this put all those together.
Funny, like my memory of Rorschach doesn't feel like it's related to Deadguy.
Rorschach was just kind of like a hardcore-y kind of maybe power violence fringe.
I feel like they were just like actual like hardcore punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was Voivod. Like he was doing Voivod.
I don't know what that means.
Like a techie Canadian metal band from the early 80s.
Okay.
And he was like, so I don't know. This is like another concept that like I feel like I always like kind of champion, but like I don't know if other people agree. Like to me, like pioneer stuff tends to be I want to be this famous thing, but I am not talented enough, don't have the friends, can't afford the equipment. And so it ends up being this other thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like AF probably wanted to be a metal band. And then like some like noisy San Diego hardcore band wanted to be AF.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? Like you want to be the thing before you, but like you're 16 with an NPC
What are you
in
gonna
your
do?
house.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So to me, Rorschach was like, we want to be Voivod, but the other guys in my band might not want to be. So I'm just playing, to me, Keith is just playing
What?
Voivod
Yeah.
riffs, and then the other guys are doing their band
Sure.
to match.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
That
Yep.
makes sense.
And so, like, yeah, where was this going? Oh, so
I
Rorschach
fucking
Rorschach,
versus
forgot.
Deadguy.
Rorschach to me was that, where it was like Keith was doing like his best Voivod impression with guys who might not have wanted to be in Voivod.
Got it.
You know?
Fuck. See, I'm always jealous because like I didn't have like a scene where I grew up and things like that, or knew like where it was. I didn't have like introduction, so like I feel like me getting into this kind of music took like a very long time, which always bums me out. Like I wish I was like 14 to 18 going to like hardcore shows and learning about the music then. But I had like it's funny how if you don't have anyone in your life to introduce it to you before like streaming and internet, it will not. There's so much out there,
For
and there's
sure.
so much like
It was all thank you lists. Like you would get
In the
I don't
back
know,
of the
for
CD,
me,
like
Yeah.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
get like a 7-inch, and I'd be like, "Oh, this 7-inch is sick," and then I'd look at the thank you list,
see what they think.
and it would be like, you know what I mean, whatever. Like Jawbreaker would thank J Church and Pinhead Gunpowder and whoever else, and like, well, now I'm going to listen to those bands, and it's like
Was that the biggest way for you to like?
at first,
that time?
yeah, that was really it. Or like
I would do
word
it
of
by
mouth.
like I'd look at like when they'd have lists of shows coming up. If I knew one band on a show, then I'd look up the other
Yeah, yeah,
bands
that's a good
and be
one,
like,
too.
well, if they're playing together, it's probably something I would
Something, yeah,
like.
yeah.
I kind of still do that. Like if
I
I
do-
see a festival and like I don't recognize any of the small print ones, I'm like, all right, I've lost touch this year. I need to like
That's
Yeah.
how I book all my bands for Fun Gutter.
Oh,
Bottom line?
Yeah, like I like look for people that like bands I do like, or maybe even bands that I've had on, and then I see what like shows they're playing.
on, who they're
People
with.
like the bands that are on. Yeah,
Oh, that's
That band
that's a great
Depression Tropical is playing with my friends on Long Island coming up.
I'm still mad that I didn't get to be there because I really like them. I'd never seen them live. But,
Oh, shit.
But yeah, I
They were
found
cool
them
as hell.
that same way.
Same way. What was the band that led you to them? Any idea?
But I think it might have been Pissed, the New Jersey Pissed, or it might have been. Oh, School Drugs is another band we're trying to get on, and I feel like it was just I don't even know. It's like a big
Yeah.
web at a certain point. It's kind of like lesbians trying to figure out who they've been with playing. It's just a big web of like, well, I don't know who came first.
The guy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll clip that.
Are
right, you wanna- do you
I
wanna-
was saying, these guys working on new stuff, or they just
So they
touring
just
it?
did like a couple of like reunion-y kind of things, and my memory's shot, but I know they were like together recently, like doing some stuff. They did like a documentary.
Really.
I
so
can't
many
remember the
reunion
name.
stuff happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I'm so into it. I am.
The
I'm
reunions?
all nostalgia.
Yeah.
My entire life it runs on nostalgia.
I don't have the nostalgia gene.
Oh
I
man,
just-
it is
I
everything.
want
to me.
new. I always want new.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't?
I like new bands. I want new bands.
I mean, I do, but I get excited when like bands come back together.
Well,
I
if
don't know,
anybody
'cause
who
it's
listens
never
to
as
this
good.
podcast listens to this album and has any input, let us know and we can bring it up in a future episode.
Yeah.
See what other people think. But do you guys want to talk about Furnace Fest?
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah.
So okay,
So
Furnace
this
Fest,
kind of started as like a nostalgia thing too. 'Cause-
1,000%.
Yeah.
Because like growing up, I wanted to go to Furnace Fest. Growing up, when it forever, I wanted to go, and then I finally went 2 years ago for the first time because it's in Birmingham, Alabama. You're never just like hanging out. You're not passing through Birmingham. Maybe Neil is.
Yeah, Birmingham's
But,
actually like pretty fucking rad.
I like Birmingham. I did some shows when I was down there 2 years ago.
Birmingham
but,
has that dope statue of that goat. It's a fountain at 5 Points. It's a goat reading a book to a bunch of other animals. And
I
it
did
just
not
looks
see
so
that.
satanic.
That rules.
Dude, why does every city have one cool neighborhood called 5 Points? You ever notice
yeah.
how many
It's
places
yeah.
have 5 points?
Yeah.
Nashville's got a really great 5 points. Minneapolis, I think, has a 5 points.
I think New York. I think there
New
was
York
like a
used to
graffiti
have
spot.
where like, R.I.P. 5 points in Queens. Jesus. Yeah, Furnace Fest though. I'm going again this year.
You're going.
Oh yeah, I bought my tickets like months ago. I
Who
like
you-
3-day VIP.
It's like literally the same week as my brother's wedding, so that's not happening.
So
Who
I
are
guess
you
you're missing the wedding,
most psyched for on day one?
dude. Okay, day one.
This is
Let's
insane.
see. Looking at Norma Jean.
I'm
Oh, okay. So there's some like sort of maybe like cringe level stuff that's like coming back. So 90 Pound Wuss is a band that like I found when I was like 12 or 13, like when I was first trying to find like punk that I was allowed to listen to, like because I was like I grew up in like a Christian house,
Yeah.
and I wanted to listen to punk without my mom finding my CDs and like throwing them out. Like she found my NoFX CD once, and she made me and my brother sit down, and she read all the lyrics and would spell
which
out.
NoFX album?
It was the one where the cows are eating a human on the front. I forget the name of the album, but so anyways, like I found this band 90 Pound Wuss that I felt like was like a little like hardcore punk-ish, but going back and listening, it doesn't age well.
No,
but I'm
not with the
pumped
name
to
90
see them
Pound Wuss.
again.
I like that name. I gotta be honest. I'm just like confused by MXPX being the top.
Nah, that makes sense for Furnace Fest though, because it's
It does?
Christian-y.
The thing is, it's not like
They're
I
not
feel like
Christian anymore, though.
usually
Yeah,
like
but they were huge in that
I know, but
scene
wait, was Furnace Fest real Christian-y?
at
it's
first.
like a lot of Christian band. It's kind of like all Christian metal, like how like all the bands would be like, no, we're Christians in a band.
Yeah.
And I feel like this, like Furnace Fest started
On
out as
a
a
label
festival that
that's run
has
by
Christian
Christians.
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
but-
guess I just don't. But I also just don't. I just don't feel like MXPX is just so poppy to me.
yeah.
Oh yeah, but that
They're the
doesn't.
headliner
I mean,
to
there's
me.
tons of stuff on
There
here.
are, but I'm
It
just
is
saying.
a
I
weird-
guess just because like I don't know,
It's a weird headline to me too, because I think like
especially over Hatebreed.
yeah, I mean, like they're so poppy for being like the head on that day. But let's see. Hope's Fall, I enjoy. Blood Comes Cleansing is one of those bands where I'm always pumped when it comes on, but I've never really like decided that I need to listen to them. You know, but Norma Jean, I'm really pumped about. Day 2.
I'd be
Okay.
psyched. Sorry, I'd be
Oh.
psyched for like Braid and Piebald, and then Vane FM is sick. Vane is sick.
Oh, you told me about that.
I told you that, Vane.
You told me to look it up when we talked about this fest before.
Yeah, and also the dude in Vane is in a band called Fleshwater, and they're
Well, I was thinking of like MXPX being like Christian and poppy. Fucking who let Reliant K on this thing?
Dude, it is like
That
got
is
some real
so
weird.
confusing. Like, I know they're Christian, but like they're also just like they might as well be at a fucking worship camp. They're so like pop.
That's like the funny. Like, there's so many of these bands on here. Like on day 2, like Zayo, which is one of my favorite bands. Literally, I have their tattoo on the side of my leg here.
Oh, nice.
I started listening to them, like actually at the very same time as I started listening to Dillinger. Funny enough, was from the same, like sitting in my friend John's van, listening to it at 10. But like
This
they
tastes sick.
started out as a Christian band, and now like all of them are like are atheists. But yeah, I feel like there's so many. Living Sacrifice was that.
This is a-
Extol.
this
Becoming
is a great day.
what day 2?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like-
First of
becoming
all,
the.
I like Drain a lot. I've been listening to Drain a ton lately.
Drain's gonna blow people away on this.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I don't know how Head Automatic is big and Drain is small on this. It's insane.
Yeah.
Thursday's sick.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Maybe it's just because I've been listening to them a lot. I feel like Drain's like ready to really like
Dude, they're
blow up.
They're yeah.
Like, I feel like
Absolutely.
they're really ready. Almost
100%.
almost like the way, not to the same degree, but like the way Turnstile started gaining a lot of
Yeah.
momentum.
Drain
I feel
is-
like Drain is
yeah.
really getting a
I
lot
don't
of
understand
momentum
how Turnstile's gotten as big as.
because they're. I think because they're
like,
they,
Not my thing.
I love them, but I think their new album is real digestible for people who
they're
aren't hardcore fans.
Yeah, they're fine, but like I get why it's huge.
Yeah.
I wonder if I need to like listen to the older stuff or something, because
Maybe.
everything
Yeah,
I've
the new
looked
one,
up.
the
I'm
new one,
just
they
like,
definitely went for something very different, and it's very. I could show people who aren't hardcore or punk fans that album,
This is
Really?
a, this
which I
is
think
a,
is what helped.
This is a really great day though, because it's like
Gorilla
old and
Biscuits.
new. Because like you got Thursday, Gorilla Biscuits, Will Haven, Youth of Today,
Terror.
Terror.
Oh, I
then
fucking love Terror.
And then you have Gel, High Vis, Military Gun, Scowl,
Oh, Gorilla Biscuits.
I saw Thursday once,
Zulu.
and they were headlining Rockstar's Taste of Chaos, and it was like 2009, and it was Pierce the Veil, Cancer Bats, 4 Years Strong, Bring Me the Horizon, and Thursday at the Webster Theater at Hartford.
I mean, I love Thursday, but that's a weird fucking
It's
call.
so weird, but it's so funny too to think like Thursday was headlining, considering what Bring Me the Horizon is doing now, but like Thursday was headlining, and it was like a 500 person or like 750 person like theater. It was just crazy to me.
It feels like Thursday is just one of those bands that like people somehow, even though it's not hardcore people are in.
Yes,
like for some reason,
absolutely.
You know, like funny. There's like this acoustic like singer songwriter guy named Rocky Vodolato.
Yeah.
Do you know
Waxwing?
No idea.
Is
Oh,
that
and
the
his
band
brothers.
that he was in?
Yeah, he was in Waxwing, and his brothers were in Blood Brothers.
So yeah, and so that's I didn't learn that until way later. I first found Rocky because I went to see Dashboard Confessional in like 2001, and Rocky opened, and he was fucking incredible. But so Rocky was here just like 2 months ago. I saw him perform, and then I talked to him afterwards, and like it was funny because everybody in this little private, like, you know, he does like living room shows, and he like does. It was like maybe 40 people were at the show, and so I talked to him afterwards, and I was like, why do you think it is that everybody here is an aging hardcore kid? Like you could, like all of us, we were looking around being like, oh, wow, we've all done this together for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that he was in a hardcore band before or whatever, but it feels like that's like sometimes people just gravitate towards certain artists, even if they're not actually hardcore.
Yeah.
I only know like 3 Seosin songs. I remember like every kid I
They've
knew
always
was
been so
really
big,
emo.
and like every time I forget that they are like as like melodic as they actually are.
Yeah.
I guess that's got to be Anthony Green singing, right? Like they don't have. I know they had other singers,
Anthony
but
Green, who's really taking off.
Busy.
On like that
Busy
whole
guy.
Oh, wait, wasn't he on that
he's
tour
in LS
that you were
Dunes.
on?
He's in LS Dunes also.
Oh, wasn't he on that tour that you did though, or was he? No.
No, we did a show in Vegas together. It was like me, him, Thursday Bayside, and someone else. Like I'm not thinking of.
That's a great line.
Yeah. It was like part of We Were Young, like the Thrown Together stuff.
Have you listened to Zulu? Like, they've been
Yeah,
getting,
they're
a lot of traction. Yeah, they're pretty
sick.
good.
They were on a Jason Fest.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, they're sick.
What's the vibe?
Well, their Instagram handle is Black Power Violence.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's black kids
Oh,
playing
wait.
hardcore aggressively.
Somebody else was telling me about. Yeah. I need to look it up.
It's really cool.
Yeah, they're sick.
Next day, Cal is Doughboys. You guys familiar?
I always fucking see the fucking name.
Yo,
I don't know. I haven't listened to them yet.
cool.
Yeah. I also
Very
like
cool.
I like,
Yo.
Cool.
hello fellow kids. Like,
Yo, for real.
I like the Trash Talk is one that I like too.
Oh, Better Lovers is going to be there.
That's
Yeah, I know.
new.
Well, they also they have a tour. They're touring.
That's new ETI.
Oh, are they
What the
actually?
fuck are they
right?
gonna like? They have an album like
They're gonna
when's
just
the
play
album
that
out?
one
Like
song?
like 19 fucking times.
I mean, that's how I listen to it
That's
right
all
now.
you can do.
Well, I'm sure the album's done. Somewhere.
I fucking
Yeah,
hope so.
I keep on going back hoping it's available.
Something new.
But I don't know when it's supposed to
I
come
haven't.
out.
Yeah, I haven't heard like fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is a weird day. This feels like a much older day.
What, the Sunday day?
Yeah, this feels like a much older day.
Did you hear the thing? Did you hear about what happened at the Bane show in Boston?
No, what happened at the Bane
Dude.
show?
So, they went on. Like the singer was talking about like trans rights and all this stuff and things like that. And some chick went on Twitter about how she's like Christian and how like this is BS that they're talking about this stuff and yeah,
At a Bane show?
at a Bane show in Boston. If I can, I want to find the thing that happened. She went this big tirade about like, oh, what about hardcore fans who are Christians and because they were like talking about protecting trans people and like.
So you can't protect someone because you're Christian. Like I never understood that. Like
Very flawed. Yeah.
Like we're not saying no rights for you. We're just saying, can you not shit on my friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty fucking easy.
It's not a zero-sum game here.
What I saw a thing recently was like, it's not pie.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Just because Bailey gets a slice doesn't mean there isn't a slice for Peter.
Yeah.
No, we can all eat. We'll get another pie. Don't
Also,
worry.
if you're like that kind of Christian to like be all butthurt about something, like you're at a Bane show. Like you don't think that they have like ideals that like maybe she doesn't know any of their.
Well,
shit.
that's like what a lot of people like were shitting on her.
Also, wasn't Jesus like kind to everyone?
Jesus Christ?
Yeah, like the guy she worships. I don't know that he lived, but if he did live, like, wasn't he? He was portrayed to be this like.
I think his vibe was being cool.
Cool,
to people.
Yeah, just be cool to people.
It's like the cool thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be cool to people until you're not cool.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like, don't shit on my friends.
Yeah, right.
Like, fucking asshole.
Fuck, I want to find it so bad. It was just like this wild thing. This one was like, she was like so offended. She loved Bane and like why they got to like bring all these politics in it.
She definitely doesn't know any of their music. There's probably all sorts of stuff that she like probably doesn't agree with, but she probably just doesn't actually know any of the lyrics. That's kind of funny.
Oh, it was crazy. Like just amount of people are shitting on her and stuff like that.
Dude. Okay.
I'm so mad. I can't.
Prayer for
find
Cleansing is sick there on the last day.
Strife is just like one of those like I'm down to see them, but like just for nostalgia reasons, kind of.
I'm a little surprised no 108 because they're playing shows with Judge.
Who?
108?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't.
No, Peter?
No.
Krishna band? Fucking
No.
sick.
What did you say, Krishna?
Krishna?
No
Like
shit.
Hare Krishna?
Yeah.
Yo, sick.
Really?
Sick. The guitar player was in Beyond and something else I can't remember. And the singer is the singer from Resurrection.
Oh.
And I guess what Judas Factor's his other band?
Is he?
Okay, I found it.
Hare Krishna?
Yeah, well, he was for a little while. I don't know if he still is.
Okay. What's that? Okay.
I found what she said.
Okay.
It was just so she tweeted this. She goes, "Guy from Bane just praised trans for 2 minutes straight, and then said he hated the U.S. government, and then said he wanted to wipe his ass with the American flag."
Love this guy. This guy just became my favorite guy.
Bye, Bane. Leaving early. She goes on to add in the following tweet: "Some of us are religious. Some of us have family that have fought for this country."
Yeah. You
And
fought for my right to say that.
And then everyone just fucking dunked on her.
Good. Fuck her.
Yeah. It's just like wild that like you could be that. They're not new. Like, how are you that surprised?
And
like,
also, I mean, like, are you that uncomfortable just being around somebody who doesn't agree with you,
Yeah,
or like
they
has a
very
different
much are.
idea? Like, that's so wild.
They very
Like,
much are.
just
But they all are. They all are, and they all are.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Nobody loves to like be around any opposing ideas, right? And we don't. That's gonna. I don't need to have that conversation.
That's a different podcast.
Okay, but one band I have to call out on the last day that's fucking hilarious is the Insiders. I guarantee you guys don't know.
Nope.
And there's no reason you would. They're a Christian ska band from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
That is right up someone else's alley.
Dude.
I'm not interested.
Like when I was like 11.
Which part lost you? The ska or the Christian?
I mean, both those parts.
I was like 11, 12. I got into ska when like ska was like that new wave of ska.
I'm not
that,
against ska. Like I like
love,
early
like-
ska, and I have some friends that played. I got famous on ska. But I'm just not. It's not a fave.
No.
And then you sprinkle in some fucking Christianity.
Oh,
I'm hard out.
You don't even know, because the Insiders, they had a whole album of like worship songs as in done ska.
Done ska, like ska covers of it. Like this is what I call worship
like,
ska edition.
Awesome God, like
Jesus goes ska.
Like, dude, your brain would melt if you
My
listened
brain's
to
melting
it.
right now. Fucking is Three Light Manifesto considered ska?
Yeah.
Sweet, I like that.
Good for you.
Why would they?
No, I got no beef. Stop doing that. It's like literally 5 bands. You just happen to mention all 5 bands.
I'm so afraid to say anything because
It's literally.
You're afraid. I'm looking for the landmine.
It's literally 5 people.
I'm not going to say negative things about anybody
I'm
anymore
looking-
because they're
I'm looking
always
for
going to
it.
be fucking Neil's friend that I'm upsetting.
It's like,
All right, so don't get mad at me that I'm like always shitting on people when you guys are also shitting on people.
No, I'm keeping it to
yes,
myself
but
now.
you're shitting on people usually. I assume it's for a personal reason.
It's always a personal reason.
Okay,
And there's
They're
literally
always personal.
I
There's
just
literally
don't like the
5
band.
people. It's just like I don't.
Name
Yeah.
them.
Fucking
We should have a list, like a poster, and be like, "These are the names you don't
like,
bring up."
it's like
Just behind the
it's like the
camera, it's
quickie
like,
mart,
don't
like who's
mention-
not allowed in, like fucking photos of them, who's been banned from the bar.
I mean,
Fuck,
honestly, it's like I can only think of 3. You just guys keep bringing up the same 3 people.
I just bring up See the Manifesto because, like, so during this road trip, we're going to Quebec City, and my boyfriend found this like festival that's happening in Quebec, and he loves Lana Del Rey. And on the same day as her is Streetlight Manifesto, so I'm like, okay, I'll go
Who's
see
on
them.
that fest?
It's like it's like a week long. It's like the 6th is like Weezer and Billy Talent, and then
Wow.
a bunch of other people. Then the 7th is terrible. It's Imagine Dragons. Then the 8th is like the Foo Fighters. Next day is Zach Bryan. Then next day Little Drop. It's literally like a bunch. I don't know how it's a festival. It's like a bunch of concerts.
My friends,
The last day is Green Day.
my friends Brendan and his wife Amber. When Imagine Dragons got popular, they were like any band that's being played on the radio, they're like, oh, like an Imagine Dragons, like no matter what the song was, they're like,
Yeah.
I guess this is Imagine Dragons.
That is just like a shorthand for a lot of
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
It's just a slur.
What is this, Imagine Dragons? Might as well be. It's fucking
Have you guys seen? You mentioned Green Day. It was on that thing. Have you
Yeah.
guys seen Green Day live?
I took my dad
Unbelievable.
for
They're
Father's
so
Day.
good live.
Unbelievable.
Because I left American Idiot in my dad's car one time, and he listened to it and fell completely in love. And so for Father's Day, I took him to see Green Day, and they played for like 3 goddamn hours.
You know, it's funny. The way I first started listening to Green Day was because of my dad.
Oh, no shit.
Like he was going through his midlife crisis, and he was. Do you remember like the old like buy 1 CD and get 10 for free,
Oh,
like that
Columbia
kind
House
of yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
He did that, and so he had a bunch of CDs, and he had bought Dookie, and
Nice.
I stole it from him, and I got really into it. And I remember I was reading the lyrics, and I asked him, "Hey, Dad, what's slut?" And he was like, "Don't worry about it." And then, like a little later
You'll
that
learn when
day,
you're
I
older.
was reading another song, and I was like, "What's whore?" And he's like, "Give me the CD
He's
back."
like, it's the same as slut. Stop talking about it.
They also didn't know what stoned was. I thought they were spelling stunned wrong.
I feel like at risk of being heckled by both of you guys.
Can't wait.
I saw Green Day.
In 1994.
Yeah, before
Slappy
Dookie,
hours.
I saw after Kaplunk. I think it's their first time in New York at Irving Plaza. Christian McKnight can correct me on this. They played like Irving on St. Patrick's Day, and then they played like one other show in New York. It might have been like Roseland or something, but it was like those were like their first. Oh, maybe not their first. Maybe I'm thinking of a different band's first show, but it was definitely St. Patrick's Day at Irving Plaza.
That's pretty.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I mean, I want to make fun of you, but that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Why were you there? No.
Andy Pfister brought me, and also I remember I wore the shirt to school the next day, and this girl, her boyfriend, made fun of me for it. And then when Dookie came out, they came into Tower Records where I was working, and they were like,
Tower
"Can you show us where
Records,
Green Day is?" And I was like, "You pieces of
You
shit.
fuckers.
You fucking sons of bitches."
I miss Tower
Thousands.
Records, or I miss like the fucking 200 stations with one CD that you could listen to at each one. Oh, what a good time!
Maybe bleep out her last name on that.
Yeah,
one.
you were doing a lot of full names there.
Yeah, that was weird.
weird. Andy's
You should
fine.
do addresses too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I had to
Melissa's
bleep
last
out
name.
my address
your whole
for
fucking address.
episode 1. Piece of shit.
I actually just saw Pennywise with Rise Against.
Oh,
That was a
nice.
good show. I like Pennywise. I'm not like super into them, but it's always like one of those bands like they come on. I'm like, yeah, all right.
I like Pennywise. I like Bro Hymn. This is real.
Oh yeah.
And that first record, the Theologian record, It's like almost punk disco. It's like so good.
For some reason, every time I think of Pennywise, I think it's like more poppy than it is. And then I go back and I listen. I'm like, dude, they're so good.
Yeah.
More skate punk than pop punk.
I had like I did have like something against like bands that were
Had a little
actually
bit of-
new
yeah.
punk, like when they first came out.
And then like it was like that second or third wave of punk or something like that when they kind of had a little bit more of like popness to them, which I think Pennywise, Green Day, Rise Against, like
Yeah.
they almost sounded like they could be on the radio.
I was
Said
telling
fuck a lot.
I'm friends with Laura from Against Me, and I was
Yeah.
telling her that like I didn't like the band when they were new because they were new, and then I go back and I listen. I'm like, oh, this is like actual.
I think you just
fucking
instantly like
punk.
something's new. You're like, but now you know that you just have this barrier of
Like,
time that you have to get over.
I've wasted so much of my life just being above things. Well, do you guys want to? How about we should probably wrap up? We should. Let's see. Where are you guys at coming up, Peter?
I mean, I'm gonna be traveling the country, so follow my Instagram. I'll be posting like different places I'll be. I know I'm gonna be in Canada for a little bit. I'll be going to Quebec City, Montreal, Toronto, then back into the States, probably around Detroit, Chicago, probably run through Montana, head out to Washington and Oregon, down to California. So follow my Instagram at Metal Pete Comedy. I'll be posting different places. If you want me to show up somewhere, let me know. If you have any recommendations, especially you two, if you have any recommendations of places I should check out,
Hell yeah.
don't give me that look. But yeah, follow me there and I'll be traveling.
I'm also all over the globe the next couple of months. Connecticut this weekend, Boston next weekend, Rochester, Fort Wayne, Denver, OKC, Austin, Louisiana.
When are you going to be in Austin, Louisiana?
Austin is mid-August,
Oh, well, we
And-
honestly, we might be on our way back.
and Louisiana is the last end of August, beginning of September.
Okay, because we're going to probably be like,
Yeah, holler at me like
yeah.
because I get to Denver the beginning of August,
Okay.
and then I just slowly come back. So
which
if
is
you're
kind of
coming
what
down
we're
the
doing.
if you're
you know?
coming down the bottom, like we'll chill or
Yeah,
do
sure.
shows or something.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and I have a special coming out. Sorry, I have a special
Oh,
coming
no,
out.
yeah.
Like in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Have some dignity. Yeah, if you're
I'm
into
excited
like,
to see it because I didn't get to be there for the recording. But yeah, I'm really pumped for you about that.
yeah, if you're into like those bands too, like Taking Back Sunday is like does the intro, and Steve
That's
from
fucking
Thursday
That's awesome.
produced and directed it with Mike Dubin, and Mike Kennedy from the Rejects did the audio, and like just pulled favors from all the rock bands. So
Hell
Frankie
yeah.
Era's on it and stuff. So
I'm pumped to see that. I'm doing a little bit of vacation. I'm going to Iceland actually in a
Oh,
couple weeks.
sick.
That fucking
that's
rules.
gonna be cool. Zero comedy there. That's gonna be a cool just disconnect. But then I'll be in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Kansas City.
when are you in Cleveland? I'll look
I
at your
don't know,
thing.
a couple weeks
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
or some in
Yeah.
early August or something like that. I'll be upstate doing like there's a fest, a Borscht Belt fest. I'm
Oh, you're
really
talking about
excited
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, so that I'm looking forward to. Like they're rebuilding like some really historic buildings up there to do the festa. Should be cool. But
Are you doing Blue Whale or no? Oh no, because you're doing
no,
Borscht.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Borscht,
exactly.
Borscht.
Yeah. Otherwise, everything's on my website at BaileyPopeComedy.com. And then catch us for next time, and we can talk about. We're going to talk about Dillinger on the next episode. Talk about the Blue Ridge
Yeah.
Festival as well. Fucking crazy, whack ass, like weird lineup. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
All right, bye.
Later.